guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are reviewing The Ring. So The Ring was directed by Gore Verbinski and it stars Naomi Watts. And it tells the story of a cursed videotape that, if you watch it, you receive a phone call saying that you will die in 7 days. A journalist by the name of Rachel decides to investigate the case upon hearing of the deaths of 2 teens that supposedly watched the tape. So I've decided to do a different style with my reviews from now on. I'm not gonna list it in a list like positive number 1. I still have notes and I still have positives that I've written down, but I'm not gonna go positive number 1, positive number 2, because it just seems a little too generic, a little bit too set in stone. I would like to be able to just be a little bit more the actual me and just give my thoughts. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So really the first thing when it comes to thinking about what I liked about this movie was the tone. This movie's color palette consists of really only blue and green. Yeah, there's some red, there's some yellow, there's some other colors in there, but for the most part, there's always just this green filter over it all. And it really just gives you this sense of unease. And not just the visual tone either. There's a very dark and disturbing mental and psychological tone throughout this movie that really gets under your skin. It got under mine. In fact, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I posted this video the other day.
I just finished watching The Ring.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that this movie kind of bothered me. It also just doesn't hold back. Like, you think, oh, they wouldn't show something like that, would they? No, they show it. They show it, and it's supposed to be disturbing. It's supposed to get under your skin, and that's just how the tone throughout this entire movie is. Also, the performances are, like, top-notch. Naomi Watts just completely owns this role. I haven't seen the original film called Ringu, which is the original Japanese film that this film was a remake of. I haven't seen that, but I have heard that this one is better, especially when it comes to the performances, and rightfully so, because Naomi Watts in this movie, she's just so good. I don't really know how to fully describe her performance, but she just knocked it out of the park. Even some of the side characters in this film that don't really get a lot of screen time, that you don't necessarily care that much about, the actors portraying them still did a fantastic job at selling what they were feeling during these extremely dark and disturbing moments. Also, the girl who played Samara, you know, the creepy girl that this is based off of, crawling out of the well and all that stuff, apparently the actress who played her is actually an actual contortionist, which made it all the more terrifying. Another thing I really enjoyed was the implications. This movie suggests certain things that have happened. Now, I did say earlier that there's things that you don't expect them to show and then they show it. There are some things that you don't expect them to show and then they actually don't show it. And those suggestions are just so deeply terrifying. Like, I was watching this movie and it reminded me of Psycho and how that film had implications of what Norman Bates was doing behind closed doors. Those types of things are just so creepy and they can really get under your skin. And that kind of ties into the ambiguity of the film as well. This movie has a lot of ambiguity in it, but not so much so that the people who genuinely hate ambiguity will be like, oh, this movie sucks. It's not one of those cases. The ambiguity in this film really, really works because you feel like you have enough pieces of the puzzle to form a general picture inside your head, and therefore it doesn't bother you. Next up is the backstory. The backstory of this film, I keep on using the words disturbing and dark, but it is disturbing and dark, but I haven't used this word. The word that is really coming to my mind right now is tragic. This movie just has this tragic tone throughout the entire thing. This sense of sadness that's underlying right beneath the surface that eventually has its break towards the end of the film. The backstory of Samara was just so well handled and it really, really hits you right there. Another thing is the intensity. This movie is extremely intense when it needs to be. And a large part of why this movie feels so intense is the practical effects. Now, don't get me wrong, there is CG in this movie and sometimes it's a little bit more noticeable than other times, but the stuff that they do practically is extremely gut-wrenching. Like, there's a scene on a ship with a horse, and something happens to this horse that is very unexpected. You don't really know why it's happening until the end of the film, but when it happens, you're like, oh, wow. And then you see the aftermath. Lastly would be the finale. The finale of this film is so intense, so unexpected, and also kind of strangely satisfying. I don't really want to spoil anything, but this movie doesn't end in a way that will leave you walking out with a smile on your face, and somehow it's still extremely satisfying. I really don't know how to explain why, it just is. And it was so well directed. And that's another thing too. This movie was directed by Gore Verbinski, as I said at the beginning of this video. This is the first film of his that I've seen, and man, it was a good first impression. I also just want to point out that the director's name is literally Gore. His name literally is Gore. Like, that's his name. I don't know, I just wanted to point that out. As for negatives with this movie, I would say really just the pacing and one side character. There are a couple scenes towards the beginning that are meant to be investing, but they kind of just drag a little bit. And then the side character that I mentioned is the father character. He is underdeveloped. He does have enough of a backstory, and it's like just enough to make you slightly care, but not enough to really give you the full amount of emotional payoff that they wanted to hit you with at the finale. But like I said, it's just enough for you to care. And as for those pacing issues, it really is only a couple scenes. Certain scenes that some people might find slow, I find extremely entertaining just based on how well this movie was shot and lit. Well, there you go. That's my review for The Ring. After watching it a couple days ago, I feel extremely comfortable giving this film an 8.6 out of 10, which brings us to a B+ on the grading scale. So what do you guys think of my new reviewing style? What do you think of this new background? I also got a new TV. If you watched my Joker for Halloween video, which I will plug for you right up there, you would have seen in that video that I got this new TV and this new background and everything. I hope you guys like it. I decided not to clean it up because I actually really like it. So The Ring, I really liked it. I think it's probably one of the best US horror films in the past 20 to 30 years, as well as being one of the best horror remakes, because most horror remakes just aren't good, they just suck. This film, on the other hand, is probably one of the best, if not the best horror remake that we've ever had. Comment below and let me know what you thought of The Ring, or what is your favorite horror movie remake? Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.